self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am Calamity Red.
And we are Conversation Con Artists, back for another wonderful, fantastic episode. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MISTER_on point, and on TikTok at 80B Eating and 80B Talking.
And I can be found at Red_Calamity on Instagram. If you have a question, comment, write a letter that you would like for us to respond to, you can send it to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartists@gmail.com, or you can send it to any of the aforementioned social media. We did hear from Michael's wife from over the pond. I won't read it because it was basically just kind of a check-in to let us know that they were still listening, and that that they want us to talk about Diablo 4, because they aren't going to be buying it, because I think them individually they play it and then their kid plays it, so they got to buy 3 copies of a $70 game, or who knows how much it is in UK money. But and she just said that they've been just busy, but they're still listening, so she did reach out. So shout out to Michael's wife, and she signed it that way. That's what she wants us to call her.
Nice. Diablo 4, let me just say about Diablo 4. If you're a Christian,
oh yeah,
you're going to turn that shit on, watch the intro video, and you're going to feel like demonic spirits done entered your bedroom, okay? Just to let you know. This shit,
and even if you make it past the first point, that church scene, when he find out what happened to the people, that will fuck you all the way up. Like, you really gonna cut that shit out. If you made it past the beginning and you get to that part,
like, once you realize that this I don't know, like, a part of me with Diablo 3, it didn't feel like this was like not Christian, or somebody who was writing it was like an atheist or some shit. But like, it seemed like the themes of this one is gonna make some Christians uncomfortable. I mean, all of it should be like, is Diablo demon or devil translated?
devil, I think.
Like, if you shouldn't be playing a game called Devil No Way. If you're a hardcore Christian, you know what I'm saying? But so if you can get past the idea that it's a game called Demon, and you can get past the fact that it looked demonic in the creatures, then you're gonna have to reckon with the idea that, like, the game is centered around this woman named Lilith, who is reference to being Adam's first wife. Not because, in some lore, Eve wasn't Adam's first wife. So now you got to reckon with the story of Adam and Eve, because where Lilith come from?
Mm-hmm.
She was another demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like she was another demon that supposedly married Adam, and that turned into a whole shabacle. But
I think the difference is with Diablo 3, it was more cartoony. They made this shit like, I always forget the name of it. The game where he shot the deer and made the boy watch.
mm-hmm.
What is the name of that fucking game?
God of War.
God of War. They made it more along those kind of lines. So like Diablo 3 was a little bit more cartoony. It had like blood, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't entrails. It wasn't like like it looks more realistic. And the storyline is a little bit more, evil based than I feel like the other one.
I mean, the villain, the bad guy from the rip, came right in there and started fucking shit up. And you are literally like walking in their path of the destruction they causing, her and her little minions. And so it's like, it ain't no spend the whole game searching for the bad guy. Well, you're going to do that, but like without knowing much. But like, she came in like, hey, I'm here now, motherfuckers. And that's like what you're trying to figure out. I wonder if they're going to add classes, because it's like
5
classes. And it's like, they always add classes, don't get me wrong, but you would think they would just put a bunch of different classes in the game just to spread out the vantage point. and the characters seem like isolated enough from each other that you could do that. Just have
Mm.
a bunch of characters in the game. It would be different if it was like every run is different and had different animations based on each class, but it don't seem like that to be the case.
No,
So
because originally played. Well, when I played the beta, I did a druid, and then when I started playing this time, I did a sorcerer, and then I have a game going now on my own where I am a necromancer, and the story's been the same.
mind y'all, I want y'all to know this and understand this. The reason that she started a new game is because I don't play enough. Because when she get off of work, she will play the damn game from off work to bedtime, and I just don't be doing it like that sometimes. I do sometimes, don't get me wrong. Ark had me in a chokehold for like some months, right? Probably about four months. And I just been off of Ark for like that long, waiting for Diablo to come out. But she started her own game because she was like, fuck nigga, you just want to come play 2 hours at a time. And I need to keep it moving. I need shit to do. So that's how I
Yeah.
game.
So I have the sorcerer game with on point, and so that will progress as we progress together. And then I'm just doing the necromancer is actually pretty fucking cool. Um, the powers are kind of neat. I'm liking her.
And I always fight against my natural instinct of getting the barbarian because it's like, let me try something different. But then again, I just get the barbarian. So I started with the barbarian. Um,
I like
another
magical shit.
another thing about the game is it has a whole bunch of in-game purchases
Yes, it does.
that you can make. And so my hypothesis is that the reason that they're not adding any more classes than they have to is because when classes come out, you're gonna have to buy them classes. And I think that's another reason the individual classes being disconnected from the story and able to stand alone without manipulating the story. Hence, they putting 5 out. I think gonna make it real easy for them to just add a character into there, and it's gonna make it to where you don't have to have the character yourself. You know what I'm saying? On your game, it would be different if the game like forced you to have the character, but like nah, you can just buy a character, add it, and kind of like characters on Mortal Kombat and shit. Like you can still play online with other people and they fight you with the characters they purchased, but you not have them on the game. You know what I'm saying? Some games used to be where if you didn't have the content, they just wouldn't even let you play online with motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was Destiny like that? Early Destiny? But there's a host of games that if you didn't buy the updated maps or the updated whatever they're doing, you couldn't play along. But
I don't like the way the server is set up where when you're playing is other people that's not in your like direct game just running the fuck around.
it ain't, you know what? It ain't even just running around because it's some of them games like Dark Souls where you see other people running around and it don't impact your game.
Oh yeah.
But they actually impact your game. Like
they're killing things.
Yeah, they fighting shit over in front of you. And it's like cool if you just end up for the loot and you want to run behind a dude who's a level 30 while you're a level 15. That's cool. But like if you somebody who really trying to like
level your character up and level because you don't get the points for it when they do it. So I don't like that shit. I wish that
I think you do get the experience points. I think you got to just be in the vicinity of it having happened.
That's stupid.
But when you start a lot of those fights, it give you a mastery option to where if you complete certain goals within the fight, you get stuff.
Yeah.
And like if somebody else started it before you, then you're not gonna qualify for that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of.
I don't like that. I'm not a like multiplayer gamer in general. I'm a very much a solitary gamer. So if I'm gonna play with somebody, I want to play with the people that I know, and I don't want to play with other folks. And I'm not online. That's not my thing. So I don't really like that aspect of it. But when I was playing by myself in the town, and it may have been because of the time of when I was playing, I didn't see nobody. It wasn't like when we were playing because it was motherfuckers running all over the place when you and I were playing. So I don't know why it wasn't when I was by myself, but it's cool so far. The story is a lot darker, and like I said, I think it doesn't help that the graphics are so much more realistic, so it just really feels fucking like you watching a horror movie.
And you playing on that old ass Xbox.
Mm-hmm. What's Xbox One? Don't have people thinking I got an Xbox 360.
Well, people who play Xbox enough know it ain't on an Xbox 360 because they didn't even release the game for that system. So they understand.
I got an Xbox.
But also that piece of the game about the other people, it don't take away from the game itself. Like it's a really good experience. If you like Diablo, you're gonna like this game. The other part don't take nothing away from it.
It takes something away from me, but that's because I don't like playing with others.
but the thing is, if you happen to be running a game where nobody was in it, you be having the time of your fucking life.
I would be having the time.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we played of 100% that we played, we ran into people for 10% of that. If that, like that might not even be the accurate representation. I mean, it was like 3 areas where we ran into people when we had fought 20 by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. And mostly really was within the cities. There was a lot more of them within the cities.
Yeah.
Or the towns. So
yeah.
It's a cool game though.
One thing I'm learning about gaming for me is I've cracked open my PS5 and I started playing some older games because I want to beat them to get to the newer games. And I think the reason that I started gravitate towards sandbox games like Ark, like No Man's Sky, is because I have really come to enjoy pressure-free gaming, like objective-free gaming. Like the objective being what I want it to be. Well, okay, let me go in and try to see if I can tame this particular type of dinosaur, or let me go in and see if I can gather some more metal for my base resources and this and that. Or No Man's Sky, let me just travel through different planets to see, what the planets spawn as. But like when I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn and even the newer Spider-Man, it ain't new no more, but the Miles Morales Spider-Man, when I unlocked stuff in the city with Spider-Man and all of this different stuff popped up on the map, like you got a cell phone that give you crimes you can go to, and then you got these like electronic boxes around that you can go to, and then you got these other kind of. The map's so overwhelming. I just cut that shit off, man. I don't know if something has shifted in my gaming world where I just don't want to play those games like that.
But you could not play Zelda because Zelda's huge.
It ain't even about the size. It's just about, I think, once it unlocks everything and you could choose about 5 different things to do, that fuck me up. It's like I would need stuff to either unlock slower or have a straight direction of something that I can do, like missions. That Horizon Zero Dawn is like you can stay on a mission, and not have a problem. But I don't know, man. It's just something that's shifting in my gaming. I need to figure out what it's going to be at the end of this.
Well, I am still playing Zelda, because I'm an adult with shit to do. I know some people are able to just sit down and play, but I play when I can. So the game is huge. I mean, if you wanted to go from point A to point B and just beat the boss, you probably could do that fairly quickly, but it is so many side missions and so many shrines to find. There's 3 different level areas to explore. It's just a really big game, so I'll probably be playing that still for a while because it's like 152 shrines by themselves, not to mention all the whales and all the other stuff that you can find. So still playing that too. We'll be playing that probably for a while because I've made it to where I could go find and fight the final boss, but I'm just doing all the other stuff now. I got, like, some people, I have to have the full map. I want to see where everything is and do it in the order that I want to. And so I uncovered all of the map, and so now I'm exploring. And then once I feel like I've done that enough, then I'll go beat the game. But yeah, so those are the two. Sims is on pause for right now because they fucking did an update where they changed the goddamn controls. I play it on console, and it makes it unplayable. Like your muscle memory, it's a substantial change in the controls to where people are like complaining.
It ain't no setting to change it back. Oh,
you can't change it. They change, like, yeah, you can't change it.
Bro, that's some stupid ass shit.
And it's like a significant change to where the buttons that you would normally use to play it, to pause and unpause the game, switch with the buttons that you would normally use to like change from person to person. So like it's just really fucking. It makes it awkward. And if I played long enough, I probably could get used to the new controls, but I don't want to. It's stupid. And people have been complaining, so I'm hoping they're gonna change it back. So that's on pause till they get them fucking controls back right. Because I ain't got time for this shit. It's so annoying, and it makes it so difficult to play. So Diablo and Zelda are gonna be my go-tos, and I still have a. So when I bought Zelda, I did the Nintendo had this thing where you could buy like 2 vouchers for $100. The Zelda game was $70 by itself, so that left me with the ability to get another game and pay less than $60-$70 for it. So I still have a voucher left. I don't know what I'm gonna get with it though, because it's only like Nintendo, like it's only their games. They're like Zelda or the Mario games, and so a lot of it I already have. So I got to figure out what I'm gonna buy with that other voucher too.
Gotcha.
Anyway, what did Miss Cinnamon send?
Miss Cinnamon sent us something on Instagram. She gave me a little insight to the Quora issue that we had last week, where I said I didn't know what the original post was.
Mm-hmm.
She said, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm supposed to read this or not. I'm going to read it anyway. Hello, I'm sorry I didn't explain Quora last time. Yes, it's questions, and the reply with the most upvotes is usually highlighted. I don't know how to get to the original posted thread because these are usually highlighted posts they email me. So much has happened since I sent the last one. I forgot I sent it. So when you said I sent the letter this week, I actually wondered if I sent something else amidst the chaos that had been in my life the last 3 weeks. My son graduated high school last week, but I'm very much in agreement with both of your responses to the mother-in-law suing for grandparents' rights. She better hope she wins because she'd be cut faster than Jonathan Majors from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Good day, ma'am, no matter his age. I'm definitely about my boundaries more, and with a narcissistic parent, I see I need even more. Another story for another day. I have another Quora post, but I'm just adding the question for you to weigh in on. And this is just a question. Okay. My 18-year-old son left home without authorized. Okay. My 18-year-old son left home with our authorization to get an apartment and now refuses to pay his daily parenting fees that he has been paying since he was 13 years old. How would I go about suing him?
What the fuck is a parenting fee? What is that? Since he was 13. Get the fuck out of here.
That's some shit that I want to slap the hell out of parent that told me that about. Not a parent that I was seeing as a client. I never want to slap the hell out of my clients, but a parent that volunteered that information with me on neutral grounds. I'd be like, I slap the shit out you. What you mean parenting fees? You're charging him for being your parents?
I guess that's the only thing I could think of.
How he make money?
At 13. At 18, he might got a little side job, but 13, what the fuck? How was y'all getting parenting fees out of him?
Like, were y'all giving him an allowance and saying that you got to pay us for being your parents? Like, I wonder how they framed that to the child. Oh, man, I wish I had more context for this question because I really want to know, like, what their intention behind parenting fees were. Because if you want your kid to pay some shit, it's so many range of things that you can do to, under the guise of it being how to become financially responsible as a kid. It's so many different things you can do to make a child be financially responsible. But this move sounds like a parent that wants their child to know that you fucked up our lives by coming here. And the crazy part is they didn't fuck up your life. You fucked up your life.
You had me. I wasn't part of that decision.
And then a 13-year-old don't even have the power to challenge them fees. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
What could the fee be? I mean, I just really would like an explanation of what the fee is.
What would you do if your mama and your daddy called you and said that they wanted you to start paying parenting fees?
Laughing in motherfucking faces.
I mean, they fucking dead serious. They ready to cut you off about this, like for real. All y'all siblings, they calling y'all and they saying, listen, we putting our foot down. We were at church and the church brought up this thing about parenting fees, and they had some real good points because we put a lot of work in raising y'all, and we need parenting fees. It's gonna be $100 for each of us per month. And we are willing to cut y'all off if y'all don't comply with this. What's up?
Get the cutting. The fuck? Did I ask you to pay for my therapy sessions that I had to do because of my goddamn childhood? Like, if we gonna start getting money for bullshit things, I got a whole list. We can do this. I don't think you want to go there. I don't think this is what you want. I don't think you want to do this. Because we can. And, I could sue you for pain and suffering. You want to just throw out frivolous lawsuits and shit? Let's do it.
You just gonna cut your parents off like that?
Yes. What? I'm not cutting them off. They cut me off. I'm not. Don't say that. Don't. You just gonna cut your parents off? They cut me off over some bullshit. I ain't do shit. They called me with that.
But you ain't paying, so don't that mean you technically the reason why y'all getting cut off?
No,
they read the reason why you getting cut off because they the one that put it out there.
They put an unreasonable request out. How would that be my fault? The only way for me for this to not happen will be for me to be as irrational as they're being. And I'm not going to do that. Fuck out of here. Man, please. No. Absolutely the fuck not.
If that shit happened to me, my mama called me and she was real serious about it. And I said, no, I'm not paying. And she said, okay, well, I guess I'll talk to you when I talk to you. Bye. I'm blocking your number or whatever. I'm going to go get me a steak from my favorite place. Not to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? But just to show myself that I'm the reasonable motherfucker in the room. And I believe I am. And I'm going to celebrate me being reasonable as fuck while everybody else is going to hell and fucking up their decision-making processes. I would not do that. So what if you had a client? What if you had a client that a 16-year-old kid who somehow they've been getting money, but you find out that their parent is charging them a parenting fee, and they have been since they were 13 years old, and the child is telling you like it's normal because the child don't have no other place to reference it from. What you doing in this situation?
With stuff like that, when it's kids that are dependent on their parents, because me putting into their head that it's fucked up and that they shouldn't be doing it is not going to help nobody, right? So what I would do is I'm going to go to the source. Like, oh, your parents got you paying a parenting fee? Okay, let me schedule a parenting session with your folks. And I'm going to have a conversation with them because going through the child, 16-year-old, it's not a lot she's going to be able to do. Even if I could convince her that it's unfair, she shouldn't be doing, what the fuck is she going to do? Stop paying it and then, incur their wrath? Like, I have to be really careful with kids that are still under their parents' control because you don't want to make shit hard for them because there's only so much they can do.
Okay, so a parent tells you that they are thinking about doing parenting fees for their kids.
You need to stop right there. No. Absolutely not.
But parenting is a hard job. Parenting is not easy.
It is something that you chose to do. This is something you chose to do that you never had to do. You could have went your entire life and never had a fucking kid and kept all your money. Nobody made you go have them children. And the children didn't ask to be born. Actually, they came here against any choice of their own and got put in this shit and just got to make the best of it. So the fact that you feel entitled to receive some kind of compensation for you deciding to have a kid is crazy to me. That's crazy.
And you know what? And she said, how would we go about suing? Man.
An 18-year-old for parenting fees. Please go to the courts and do that. I want them to go and do a lawsuit for this.
They're gonna laugh in y'all goddamn face.
And you gonna have to pay court costs, and the judge gonna be mad for wasting the court's time.
And they're gonna say, good for him, good for that young man for getting out of that goddamn house. That's all they need to know. Our son has stopped paying his parenting fees, and he moved. We let him move out, but if we knew he was gonna stop paying them parenting fees, we wouldn't have let him move out. But because he stopped paying those parenting fees, we need to sue him. Like, why, man? Why did you come in here with this stupid ass shit? It's clear that your son, and Judge Judy, Judge Mathis, one of them judges, they'll tell you that shit. They'll be like, well, it's a good riddance that this motherfucker got rid of y'all ass because it had to be a headache being in the house with y'all.
It had to be.
Had to be. No option.
Look, I choose to have Remy. I don't have to have a pet.
You didn't choose Remy?
Well, I choose to have a pet. I had a dog, so let's not get into the specifics. I choose to have a dog.
Y'all, I just want y'all to know there was a time period where she was like, what the fuck about Remy? Because, you know what I'm saying? Never give anybody a living thing for a birthday present. Don't do that, man. Do not do that. Sorry. It's just fucked up.
Well, if he'd been a different dog, I might not feel that way about it. But that's the problem with giving, you don't know what their personality is going to be. But neither here nor there. I chose to have a pet. I choose to have him. I didn't have to accept him. I could have said, I don't want another animal. So it would be like me expecting some kind of compensation for choosing to have a pet because being an owner is difficult. Because it is. This motherfucker gets scared about shit that don't make no sense. His most current fear is beeping fire alarms. You know how your fire alarm make that beeping sound when you need to change the battery? If I watch something on TV where a person's battery in the background is beeping, he start freaking the fuck out. I don't even know why. Okay. The other day I was sitting outside and this motherfucker tried to bring me a shaking living lizard and looked confused as fuck when I kept running back from him saying, drop it, no, drop it. He looking at me like I'm the crazy one. Bitch, if you don't put that shit down and get away from me with that goddamn lizard. Okay. Being a pet owner has its difficulties, but I chose it. He don't owe me shit. I didn't have to accept him. I don't have to have him. He don't owe me a fucking thing. I took on the responsibility of him, so I owe him shit. Okay, I paid $300 the other week for his fucking annual and some medicine for his itchy ass skin. Think I wanted to do that? But it's part of pet ownership. They get sick. They have to do that shit. So like anything that you choose to do that you don't fucking have to, for you to later come back and want the thing that you chose to give you compensation for is fucking insane. Bitch, you and people, I don't know why people act like it's so hard to not have kids. It's very simple. You can fuck and not have children. It is absolutely possible for you to fucking do that. So the fact that you chose to either be irresponsible and end up with a fucking kid, or you just decided you wanted to have kids, bitch, this is what you do. You get the hard job of being a parent. You don't get compensation for that shit. No parent does. That's why you need to think about it before you decide to go down that road of being a fucking parent. Because it is a thankless job. Kids are fucking little assholes most of the time. But you chose that life for yourself. You don't get to tell the child, like, since I had you, you got to pay me. What? I was not in on that decision. Hell, I just arrived here confused as fuck. I was in a nice, wet, warm place chilling, and then all of a sudden this doctors and shit spanking my ass, and now I gotta live in this world. I had nothing to do with your decision to exist. So therefore you don't get compensation for it. And the fact that y'all even were able to talk him into that, he needs to sue y'all for all that money back that he has paid y'all over the years. If anybody should be suing, it's him. To get a return on all the money that he's paid y'all, because that shit is fucking ridiculous. Parenting fees. The fuck out of here.
You sounding like Judge Toller right now.
Who's that? She's
the judge from divorce court.
Oh.
She be going on them in rants. She be like, ma'am, you are a microbiology student, and this man has brought nothing but trouble into your life. He ain't even remorseful. Look at him. He ain't even sorry for what he did. And he got this other woman pregnant. What you need to do is pack your shit up, get out. And you sound a real Judge Tollery right now. So you goddamn roast a motherfucker for 10 minutes straight in the courtroom after she done made her decision. Look, after she done made her decision now, the essence of that is, after she done said all that shit, he gonna try to defend himself, and she just motherfucking hit the hammer on the table. I'm out. I be like, she got his ass. She love doing that little drop the mic shit. I mean, I'm sorry. TikTok motherfucking accounts on TikTok that begin real popular, or TikTok accounts that read Reddit shit, TikTok accounts that play court shows over and over, paternity stuff, bro. The people just create them accounts and motherfucking, and I be contributing like a motherfucker because I definitely be listening to them Reddit stories and goddamn all that shit.
I get a lot of the paternity court ones. I have never watched paternity court, but the little clips are funny as fuck because she be getting in their ass too. Like she be like, "What?"
That white lady too. I don't remember her name. She ain't Judge Judy, but she tough. The new divorce court got Star Jones on it, I think, man. And it's like one of them situations where it's like they using literally a Merriam-Webster's definition of the term judge for the people. They not using
Star
like the
Jones.
legal. They're not using that legal term that means you used to be a goddamn lawyer, passed the bar, went through this. They ain't talking about all that shit.
Okay.
But anyway, Miss Cinnamon, thank you for that. Yeah. I am certain that you knew that this question was rolling on a flashbang into the room with me and Red. You should know that by now. With how long you've been listening, you knew we weren't finna have that shit.
What?
You know, no offense. I mean, I hope you're not thinking about doing that, because I mean that just means your idea got roasted for the last damn, however many minutes we did. But I stand beside it. Don't be charging your children no parenting fees. Matter of fact, if you got some friends or some people who gonna charge their kids parenting fees, you need to tell them that they need to goddamn get a counselor. They need to talk to somebody.
To tell them not to become parents. Don't fucking have no goddamn.
They already got the kids. They already got the kids. You know what I'm saying? They never said no stupid shit like this the first 11 years because a kid, you've been spending so long trying to keep their ass alive, you ain't even thought about money from them. You know what I'm saying? Then at some point, you start telling your folks, hey, I'm thinking about charging my kids parenting fees because this shit hard. They won't listen. They do it. It's a kid's job not to fucking listen. That is their job. If it's your job to go home or go to work and then pay for the house and take care of everything, make sure the kid is fed and alive, if that's your job, their job is to motherfucking eat all your goddamn food, spend all your goddamn money, not listen to your ass, and try to get away with shit. That's the job of a fucking kid. And you know what? You was the same motherfucking kid that they was.
Yep.
Because it's the nature of being a motherfucking in a family dynamic with no power. Somebody got to take care of you. And the reason that they being taken care of is because they didn't ask to be here. You snatched them out of the fucking void. And they came here. And you know what? You're supposed to be training them how to do shit properly. Right? There's a subset of kids who, even if you try to train, it's going to be probably damn near impossible. But you know what? You're the one that's going to be responsible for most of that motherfucking child's trauma. And if you're the kind of parent that's asking this kind of question, I'm certain that they have traumas because of your ass. I am 100%. Certain that you fucked them up in several different ways that some you may know and some you may not. But either way, you're in denial if you ask for your child to pay for being a parent. So
100%.
Yeah. Thanks for that again, Miss Cinnamon.
So, I said this week the theme is going to be boyfriends.
Yes.
Bitches is crazy. Like, the titles for the boyfriend ones are weird. Like, last week, it was like boyfriends doing, like, petty shit to their girlfriend or not wanting to pay for it or whatever the case. This shit is like, I'm going to read them. Let me just read a few of the titles. Am I the asshole for hiding my boyfriend's blanket? I don't know. Would I be the asshole if I don't go and see my best friend who I haven't seen in under a year because I used to play with her boyfriend's feet? Your face. I told you they're weird. And am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend's dad he was dead?
Oh, damn. That means he's still alive. Shit.
Am I the asshole for hanging out with my boyfriend in my own apartment? I picked that one because if you saying that, it's a reason. So you probably got a roommate. You doing some scandalous shit and you trying. I'm in my own place. Yeah, but you got a roommate. I feel like. Would I be the asshole if I find my boyfriend's estranged father? He estranged for a reason, bitch.
Oh, yeah. I want an update for that one.
Am I the asshole for canceling on family vacation after my newly widowed mom decides to bring her new boyfriend? You don't get to decide when she move on from your daddy.
But you do get to decide whether you want to be around them.
True.
I want to do the dead daddy one and that one. I mean, you can keep reading.
Where they told the boyfriend's dad that he was dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the asshole for knowingly letting my mom's boyfriend get food poisoning? Was the last one.
Knowingly letting him get food poisoning.
Yes.
He did that shit to himself.
If you know and you stand by and let the person get food poisoning, though, I don't know.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It depends on the circumstances.
Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend's dad he was dead? My boyfriend left home on his 18th birthday after a big fight with his dad. He tried to reach out after that, but his dad completely ignored him and wanted nothing to do with him. My boyfriend was really depressed about it, but he eventually got over it. I remember one night we got drunk. We're apartment sharing with friends, and he told us that he was dead to his father, and that stuck with me. Yesterday, he just showed up. My boyfriend's dad, that is. Myself and one of our roommates were the only people home. I answered the door, but I didn't let him in. He said he wanted to talk to his son, and I said, "Oh, you're dead, son?" He must not have remembered or understood the reference because he went completely pale and asked how and when he died. He looked almost as upset as my boyfriend had been, so I decided to let him stew in it. First of all, okay, I'm gonna come back to that. I told him a fake story. He looked like he was going to throw up, and he asked if he could come in and have some water. I reluctantly let him because he seemed very ill. Once inside, my roommate saw us and asked what was going on. My boyfriend's dad asked if he knew his son, and my roommate was super confused, and it quickly came out that my boyfriend wasn't actually dead. My boyfriend's dad was furious. He said I was a sick person with a hateful heart. I told him he said his son was dead to him, so why would he even care? He said he made a mistake in a moment of anger, but I made a cold-blooded decision. My roommate also said what I did was fucked up. I went to our room and called my boyfriend, who said to make sure his dad left before he came home, which I did, and he did reluctantly. I did not tell my boyfriend about the dead thing, just that he showed up and seemed to regret things. My boyfriend is shocked by his dad just showing up, and I don't want to pile on more. My roommate said I was a huge asshole because no one deserves that, but I'm not sure. He did look so sick, but part of me thinks he brought it all upon himself. I don't know. She did an edit, but let's just go with that. First of all, the fact that you think that this man was going to remember saying that his son was dead. First of all, he said he basically is dead to his father. I don't know that means that the father said you're dead to me, but let's say he did. Let's say the dad did say you're dead to me. For you to think this man who's coming here to reconcile with his son is going to remember every nuanced piece of that argument and realize that when you said that his son was dead, that you were referring to him making that comment in the argument, bitch, bye. Why the fuck would you do this? This is not your battle. That's for your boyfriend to decide how he wanted to handle that. You got way too involved. And then now the fact of the matter is you need to go ahead and tell him what the fuck you did. Because if he decides to meet up with his dad and his dad tell him what the fuck you did and it comes from his dad, you don't want that. You need to go ahead and fess that shit up. Tell him what the fuck you did. It was unnecessary. All you had to do was say the nigga wasn't there because he really wasn't. And let him handle it. That's his relationship with his dad. You did way too much. Fucking weirdo.
You know, the things that some people do in defense of other people that they would justify because I was trying to defend you or I was trying to take up for you or support you or whatever. Some of the shit they do be next level stupid. You know, like, what? Okay, what did you want? What were you trying to accomplish with this? Did you want the daddy to, because you let him stew in it, huh? You
made up a whole story about him dying. You didn't even see it, look and stop it. You kept going.
Like you wanted the daddy to feel what it would really feel like to have lost a son. Like, this is exclusionary criteria. If I found this out, I would break up with you.
Yeah, because you're crazy.
And it ain't even about goddamn, like, my daddy still be no contact. It ain't like I'll call him and be like, Pops, I'm sorry. No. I wouldn't talk to my daddy and you just wouldn't be in my life. That's dumb shit. Like the way that, because it's like the way that you made the decision, I don't need to be entangled with you if you can make decisions in such a logically flawed direction. Like, that's trash. So yeah, no.
Let's see what her update. Her update was, one of you made a compelling case to tell my boyfriend as soon as possible about telling his dad he was dead. That's what I said. He wanted to know what his dad reaction was and kept asking if he said anything other than asking for more information before he found out it was a lie. He only really asked questions like when, how, was it sudden and such, and my boyfriend was pretty disappointed by that. He's pretty depressed this morning. You just, you know.
Listen, y'all, if y'all got a partner who has disconnected themselves from their parents, I need you to understand that there is still this inherent part of most of those people who desire to have a relationship with their parents. They just don't desire to have it in the form that it's been in. And that's the reason that you go no contact. That's the reason that you cut somebody off. Because one, they did something problematic to you, or they not respecting your fucking boundaries, right? And in one of those, yeah, it's if I cut you off, but you need to take into consideration that that person at some point may want a relationship with them. Another death in the family may bring them together. And now you solidified your spot in their lives if they do reconnect as some cold-hearted scallywag who is willing to tell a lying-ass story about his son being dead just for fucking shits and giggles, it seemed like. But I'm sure your brain thought it was doing something, but no. You shouldn't do that shit. That's bad. Bad idea.
Very bad idea.
Very bad idea.
And then you want to do the one about not going on the vacation because mom got a new boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see who's unreasonable in this. Because either one of them could be unreasonable.
All right. My dad lost his 1.5-year battle with cancer 1 year ago, April of 2022, at only 62 years old. He and my mom were married for 31 years. The few months before my dad got sick, he and my mom were not on great terms and were contemplating divorce. However, through my dad's diagnosis and extreme ups and downs of treatments, they came together, squashed some of their issues, and my mom was there to care for my dad every step of the way. I miss him every day. Me and my mom had always been pretty close, but since my dad died, I feel like I'm seeing and talking to her less and less these days, and it makes me sad. In August of 2022, 4 months after my dad passed, my mom started seeing someone. She called him her friend, slipping in mentions of him in conversation, but I personally wanted nothing to do with him. Still don't. I thought it was too soon, and I told her so. Everyone grieves differently, and dating after losing a spouse is hard, but conversations I've attempted with this guy and the chemistry between them has been super awkward, in my opinion. I feel like she's disregarding any feelings or pushback that me, my sister, and extended family have about this relationship, large extended family, all very close-knit. She has now started bringing him to events and parties, and there's an awkward vibe when he's around. Nobody wants to say it out loud. This past week, he showed up unexpectedly at our family Easter party at my parents' house. My mom knew he was coming and did not mention it to anyone. Following tradition, we stood in prayer before we ate dinner, and my uncle prayed out loud for those who we have lost, and I felt so awkward that my mom's boyfriend was there holding hands with my family as we talked about my dad in my dad's house, almost only a year to the day that he died. We're now booking flights for a large family vacation in June. Condo has already been booked for months, and my mom casually mentioned at Easter that she's bringing her boyfriend. I didn't hear this at the time and found out later from a cousin. I immediately called and told her my feelings about him going. I don't want him to. And she completely changed the subject and did not acknowledge what I told her at all. Not to mention we had decided to leave a day early to save money on flights. But now that her boyfriend is gone, it will actually cost me more because we will no longer be splitting the cost that we originally planned, since they would be doing things separately. Money is not the problem, though. It's now principal to me. Of the 20 family members that will be on this trip, not one person really wants him to be there except her. He will be staying in the same condo, and we are going to have to tiptoe around this awkward situation for an entire week while we should be relaxing and enjoying family together. Am I the asshole for wanting to cancel on the family vacation and or stick to my guns about not wanting her boyfriend to go even though she already booked his flight?
Okay. Shut your goddamn entitled ass up. God damn. Your mama spent a year and a half taking care of a motherfucker that she barely even liked anymore to make sure that he went out in a goddamn blaze of family connection. And while you say it's too soon, you don't know how long that motherfucking relationship been over for your mama. For her to spend a year and a half watching a motherfucker die to give you a good ass memory of them having been together. And now you have the grown ass audacity to just want your mama to be by herself because it make you uncomfortable. Your mama is trying to find a fucking way to move on. It sounds like she's doing it. Whether she's doing it well or doing it genuinely, who knows? but maybe she just needs somebody to connect with, because the way that she spent that last year and a half with y'all daddy, making sure he was in a good place and making sure that y'all can see that at the end of his life, that deserves some fucking compensation. And if you ain't gonna come out of your fucking pockets, you need to let that lady have a boyfriend or a person that she can connect to, because who fucking knows how long it's been since she done connected with somebody. Who gives a fuck that the whole family don't like the dude, right? They probably don't like him off the energy of how y'all been fucking dealing with it. I'm sure somebody over there is okay with her having somebody, because goddamn, look what she had to deal with. And
well, it depends on if they know
what
she had to deal with. You know how some
if the
people like to
daddy
put
had
on.
cancer.
No, what she had to deal with as far as her relationship with him.
I mean, somebody gotta know, man. I mean, if they was on the brink of divorce, the family had to know. I mean, because otherwise you could just never have told your kids that's what was going on. You could have just kept that shit secret, especially once you knew you were gonna take care of him until he died.
I mean, I don't think she's an asshole for not going. That's better than her going and like ruining the trip for everybody and giving off bad energy. She didn't say she's canceling the trip. She just said she wasn't gonna go.
She need to stay her fucking ass at home then.
Yeah, she does.
Like, if you can't go on a trip with 20 of your family members and just enjoy yourself with 19 motherfuckers, I don't know what to tell you.
She did an
update. Well, let me say this first.
Okay.
I had a client like this. And this was when I was in the counseling program. I wasn't no licensed therapist or nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, it was just people that was talking to me. So this wasn't under confidentiality. I wasn't a therapist at that point in time. But I had an older male client, old white man. He was about 74 years old. Oldest client I've ever had. We had such a good relationship too. He had a wife that passed away. And this was slightly different though. One of the wife's friends who was in their life, who the wife actually told him some people that she thought would be good for him when she died. She was in that list of people. And she started coming around. She started helping out. She lived nearby, yada, blah, blah, blah. And everything seemed cool until he brought his daughters into the conversation. And the daughters projected their lack of having grieved their mama onto what they believe their daddy should be doing. And so this reminded me of that. It's like, because I am not comfortable or because I haven't grieved my dad properly, because, saying shit like I miss him every day, it's like she probably hadn't grieved properly. And because of that
long. It was just last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Still. I feel, well, it's just giving me vibes of that. I can't say that that's what it is, but it's giving me vibes from that situation that I had where it's like she's just projecting her not having grieved onto mama and wanting mama to be as sad as she still is about dad's loss, to the point that I can't move on. I can't do anything. Because realistically, when would a daughter like this ever fucking be okay with this? Huh? How many years got to go by? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Like, it's never an amount of time that have to go by. That child ain't never gonna say, okay, mama, it's time for you to date, until they see their mama goddamn, in the house by herself with a fucking bottle of pills laying next to her goddamn because she's sad and lonely as fuck. Do it take that for you to be like, oh no, we need to get somebody for mama? You know what I'm saying? And that's a problem for me. Anyway, what's the update?
So here's the update. I had a conversation with my mom and told her that I just wanted her to be happy, and that if I upset her, I truly did not mean to. I explained to her that it might just take me a little while longer to get used to it, but I told her I'd use the vacation as a get to know him time. After the whole conversation, all was good and we were in a good place. My mom had already bought his plane ticket and everything was set. And then 2 weeks later, he told my mom that she was too wild for him and that he had wanted to end their relationship. He said that he didn't like that she went out as much as she did. The only people she ever goes out with are people in our family, sisters, cousins, etc. And that he didn't want to be with her anymore. They broke up, and my mom says that he was being an asshole to her after the fact.
What? Okay, so let me answer the base question, because the fact that they broke up don't got shit to do with none of this. She added that in for her own comfort. The reality is, you could have had that fucking conversation with your mama off rip about your discomfort with her having a new man in y'all's life, and been the same level of okay that it ended up being after all of this bullshit happened. You could have had a reasonable conversation with your mama about that shit, and it been fine. Because clearly, when you had a reasonable conversation with your mama about it, everything was good, and you decided that you just figure out how to get to know him. That's how you deal with a situation like this. That's how you deal with it.
Well, but but in the middle of grief, I mean, the fact that she was able to go back and fix it, I'm gonna give her credit for that, because I can't imagine. So this would never be a situation that I would experience, because I don't give a fuck about my mama dating somebody else, because my dad is a jackass. So like, if he could die tomorrow and she could have a nigga next week, and I don't think I would give a fuck. Like, if he was another drinking ass motherfucker, that would bother me. But the fact that she would be dating wouldn't bother me. But that's only because I don't have a close relationship with my dad. I don't have that attachment to him. So I would never respond this way. But it's because of trauma. So somebody that had a close relationship and having to deal with the fact that they lost their parent, and it is looking like to them that the mom just replaced that parent, I could see there being some difficulty in that transition. So the fact that, because some people would have like doubled down and been like, fuck what y'all saying, she shouldn't be doing this, I don't like that nigga, and I'm not gonna deal with it. Like, she was able to, I think that was her grief. I think she's just still grieving for her dad. So I'm not super inclined to say she's just a full-on asshole, because like I said, last year, that's not long, especially not after having watched somebody die of cancer for a year and a half and watching them suffer. Like, I can't imagine what that's like. So I don't feel as strongly about this one. I don't think. I can understand why she shouldn't have responded the way that she did, but I can understand why she did.
I mean,
but
like I said, I'm looking at it from the lens of, you are willing to sacrifice somebody else's comfort for your own. And in grief, I understand that somebody would do that, but it's not right and it's not fair, and I don't support it. So I'm going to be hard on the person who is trying to take away somebody's search for normalcy amidst more trauma than you know, because I've been married to this person all this time. If shit didn't work out, we were finna get a divorce. Then this person get cancer. I put those differences aside and come back and take care of him. And then I lose him after that. Like, I really wonder how much work the daughters were putting in on that journey as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this a daughter who live in Washington when their mama live in Tennessee? And it's like, just from a distance, I'm struggling with this, but mama was actually there seeing daddy suffering, probably still taking on some abuse, I imagine. Verbal abuse.
Like they are close knit. It sounds like they get together and do shit out together all the time. So I don't think she's far away.
I'm just saying that makes a difference.
Yeah.
You know, even if they are a close knit family, how close are you to the trauma? You know, and again, I'm not saying that they won. I'm just saying all these things makes a difference as it pertains to how I'm going to calculate the asks that you can have of your parents, or specifically a mother in this situation, when she's trying to figure a way to get through it. Because, I mean, I guess you can go home to your boyfriend and have a support and hug them at nighttime and have somebody to pillow talk with through your sadness, but mama can't have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ultra selfish to me in that sense. Like, this thing that everybody else can have, you can't have it, and you lost it. I'm not willing to acknowledge that, like, you need something there. You know, so that's my struggle with the situation.
I kind of want to do the feet one, but it's long, so I won't. I just want to know why you would be playing with somebody's boyfriend's feet. That's fucking weird.
It is weird. And is it your fetish or his fetish? I mean, you know, motherfuckers that play with feet, it usually be their fetish that they playing with the feet. So if it's your fetish and you playing with her feet, that's fucked up. You shouldn't be doing that.
It's fucking weird. It's your friend's boyfriend, not your boyfriend. You can't go do that shit. But it's not really long, but it's longer than probably what we have time for. So
Yeah, and I know you gotta leave soon, and so I do want to do my little news bit. Uh, so y'all know, goddamn Trump has been indicted. Why has he been indicted? You say, if you're somebody who haven't been keeping up with it, or if you're in another country and you ain't got time to be dealing with that shit, Michael and Michael's wife, this motherfucker got indicted for lying to the feds about these fucking top secret documents that he got out here. And they've been doing research on this shit. So like a fucking long ass document came out about the indictment, and it's just talking about how he was flaunting these documents, which proves one that he knew exactly what he had. So he was telling representatives and other people that were coming to Mar-a-Lago, he was just showing them documents with the top secret stamped on the top of them motherfuckers and saying, hey, look what I got. I know I ain't supposed to have it. They tried to get me to bring them back, but I didn't, and I could have declassified them when I was the president, but you know what? It don't matter because I got them. Check this out. He pretty much just showing this shit off. And this one verifies several things, because you can't say I got them by accident. You can't say that I didn't know what I had. And you can't say that it hasn't been used and put in front of other people's eyes. Now, we don't know whose eyes them motherfuckers been put in front of. And of the people we know, we don't know whose eyes they might have been in front of that we don't know about, because they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't find it. They don't know. Another part of this whole situation was that Trump was moving the boxes full of these top secret documents all over the place based on when the feds were sending lawyers there. Now, and it's the fucked up part. They was using Trump's lawyers to comply. And this is a part of the fucking justice system that broke, because they expect everybody in this system to use the same moral and ethical foundation. One lawyer basically came and asked Trump, do you have any more fucking documents? Trump said no. The lawyer knew he was fucking bullshitting, pressed him on it, and then Trump said, we're going to get you what we got. They directed him to a room. He went to that room, and it was some very intentionally proctored documents around there to make it seem as if, oh, okay, so they giving us to make it seem as if he got everything that they had. Now, this is one thing you need to know about the National Archive. The motherfuckers who keep up with top secret documents know when there is fucking 30 boxes worth of documents missing. So the reason that they've continued to ask Trump for this shit ain't because they don't believe Trump. It's because they know that they missing 30 fucking boxes worth of documents. And at no other point in history have they ever been missing boxes of documents up until the point in time where a motherfucker who took 5 boxes and said, well, I got 5, took 5 boxes. So what's the deduction? Is the deduction that they had been miscalculating, that they had 30 boxes? Or was the deduction that somebody else could have done this? No. So they not just not believing that Trump don't got the documents. They know that they're missing a certain level of documents. And that's why they keep going to Trump to say, where this shit at? They asking it formally like, do you have any more? Do you have any more? But they really saying, Trump, where this shit at? Bring it to us. In order for Trump to avoid the feds coming in on him with this shit, he was having his people move these boxes from room to room. He would move it from the lake room. He would move it to the office room. He would move it to the bathroom. Motherfuckers have stacked the boxes in the showers in the bathroom. And because they needed the space, they would be like, hey, we need this space for staff. And they'll say, okay, move these boxes to another room. Trump was putting these boxes, he was having them carry these boxes onto flights with him. He was flying with these boxes. He was treating these boxes better than his fucking autistic son. Like, and this is what the whole thing is about. And this gets to the conversation that I really want to have. And it's kind of a 2-part conversation. The first part of the conversation is people who can still support Trump knowing that this is going on are fucking delusional. And they don't believe in the sentiments that America was founded on. They also don't believe in the sentiments that Trump ran on. Because Trump's early campaign hinged so much on Hillary Clinton's emails, which the reason that those emails didn't turn into consequences for Hillary Clinton is because they couldn't prove intention. Worst case scenario, it was a grandmama that didn't understand server shit that put a bunch of documents on there, and you can't prove intention. Okay? That's the same thing with the documents with Biden. You couldn't prove intention. You couldn't prove that Biden had them documents for some nefarious purpose. With Trump, you can't not prove intention. With Trump, it ain't like he had it like a server that is disseminated information real fast, where you know that can get out of hand quick, or a small batch of documents that Biden had. But this man had 30 boxes that he was telling people to move around just so the feds won't find the motherfuckers. Another thing from this, don't lie to the feds. Do not lie to the feds. You just shouldn't lie to the feds. If you have a lot to tell to the feds, it's best to just keep your mouth shut and deal with whatever the fuck gonna happen when you have your trial. But lying to the feds in itself is a fucking crime, which he and some of his lawyers has done through all of this shit. All right. The second big conversation to get into is, let's talk about the ineffective of Democrats versus the ineffectiveness of Republicans. Because let's make no mistake, politics been going the way that it's been going for a long ass fucking time. If it was possible for every marginalized groups to have rights, then rights would be had. But at the end of the day, Democrats and Republicans are in search of the same thing. They are in search of power. They're in search of wealth through capitalism. And until the whole government become a bunch of fucking AOCs, ain't nobody interested in changing the government. As long as it's a fucking Joe Biden or some old motherfucker, yes, that's what it's gonna be. All right? They two sides of the same fucking coin. They are splitting hairs to two different sides. The issue I have is for these people, it's a group of people who are intentional on saying the Democrats do it too once the Republicans have done something. Or, you know, both of them are bad. This situation is a representation of what bad means on the Republican side versus what bad means on the Democrat side. Ineffective for Democrats means that they are not fucking assertive. It means that Democrats' ineffectiveness is, I don't know, maybe we should be more aggressive with this. I think we should probably stand up to them. And then the other Democrats like, no, don't stand up to them. We're going to be fighting like them. We're going to run the gut fight. We're not going to. Their ineffectiveness is rooted in the fact that they trying to run such a clean campaign that they not getting any progress done because some of these campaigns take dirt and Republicans live in the mud. So their ineffectiveness is, how can we get away with the fuck shit that we doing to make people think that we still got, you know, a base moral foundation going on? And this is a representation of that, right? The example that I used when I had this conversation before is that somebody will say that the Democrats and the Republicans are both do the same shit because they both got fired, even though the Democrats got a match and the Republicans got a fucking blowtorch. Somebody is looking at them and saying, oh, they standing across from each other finna fight. They looking at the motherfucker with the lit match and the motherfucker with the blowtorch and saying, bro, both of them motherfuckers got fired. They both share the same responsibility in this fucking shit because they both got fired. This is a fucking prime example of that. Because them motherfuckers the Republicans went so hard at Joe Biden because of that little document, the shit that he had on documents. They were trying to catch him on that shit using the fact that Trump had this shit going on at Mar-a-Lago. But now every Republican is calling everybody trying to get Trump or who's participating in the criticism of Trump as this just being political, of them just going after Trump because of his election cycle. He had top secret documents rolling around here. Like, anybody who is objective and who is a patriot of this country cannot accept that he was running around here with these secret documents. And if you do, like, you're a part of the problem of why the country still goes in the direction it goes. You don't have to say that Democrats are better. I think they fucking better is the wrong word. I think they ineffective in a different way that's less harmful. Democrats not being effective means really don't shit change. Republicans being ineffective means that shit changed for the fucking worse. And so this is just a representation of that. The Democrats mishandle a little few sheets, and the Republicans can literally have boxes of that shit rolling around. And there's somebody still saying, well, they both bad. They both just as bad. They different levels of ineffective, man. And we got political season coming up. We got all these stupid looking ass Republicans coming up. I don't know what this indictment for Trump have to like. He facing like 200 or 300 years, you know. Not to mention that the motherfucker who just leaked the Pentagon documents on Discord, we probably never see that motherfucker again. Julian Assange had to fucking flee the country for talking about some shit that was on some limited documents. Trump got 30 fucking boxes full of top secret shit. And they not handling this shit under the same statutes. They handling this shit on some mishandling documentation type shit just because he used to be the president and just because motherfuckers love him too much. Why he ain't getting the treatment of other motherfuckers who we have deemed as traitors to the country dealing with this shit? I don't know, man. It's fucking irritating to me. And I don't know what it's gonna do to the presidential run, but I'm sure somebody out there wishing Trump just get his ass locked up and can't run for the president, goddamn. But who want this motherfucker to be the president again? Like, after this, you should not want Trump to be the president again.
But there are plenty of people that do.
It's not logical to me for him.
It isn't logical, but they do.
It's not sensible. And okay, maybe for the Trumpers it is, but it's a lot of people like that. Like, I was out of town this weekend with some of my homeboys, and one of my homeboys we played a game with, he voted for Trump. My cousin voted for Trump too. On some, I saw him in Home Alone type shit. Like, on the history of your relationship with Trump. Like, a lot of rappers too.
That
like,
is
motherfuckers
terrible.
are so. It's
That's
so
a
easy.
terrible reason to vote for somebody.
Listen, it's so easy to manipulate these motherfuckers. Teddy Riley, when Trump came out talking about all these lies about the indictments and shit, Teddy Riley put some thumbs up and he got some heat for that. And he like, the reason that he did that is because Trump released his brother. I mean, your brother released, now, goddamn, you ain't got to support that nigga. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. I don't know Teddy Riley's politics. And I'm not saying that as a black person that you can't support him or you can't advocate for him. You 100% can. And I ain't going to even shit on you because of that. You know, it may sound like I'm shitting on you because of it. Because when I say shit like I'm saying right now, it don't make no fucking sense why you advocate for him. But if you somebody who been in the middle, somebody who just been kind of like figuring out politics and what to believe, that to me, you have no logical reason to support Trump at this point. Like, you have no logical reason to try to give him your vote, to advocate. And if Trump the front runner, it just won't make sense to still be advocating against Democrats for Republicans because they ain't doing the shit. Ice Cube just did that same shit again. Same shit he did 4 years ago. Motherfuckers been talking all that shit. He been talking a lot of shit about how I didn't tell y'all who to vote for. You know, I just said the Democrat Party ain't doing nothing. Leave me alone. And he came right back out to do the shit again. Talking about also the Democratic Party ain't done nothing for us. And again, this is what I'm measuring this by. Let's say that you got kidnapped and you had two captors, and both of them done kidnapped you. Both of them done fuck your life up. You know what I'm saying? But one come over and slap the shit out you every day and punch you in the stomach, and one just come down there and like stare at you and then walk out the room. Like, they are both ineffective at your fucking freedom. Okay, neither one of them is good for the life you want to live. And if you had a pistol, you'll shoot both of them. Okay. But one of them is significantly more fucking ineffective for your goddamn health. One of them is fucking you up and beating your ass, right? And if you can't look at the Democrats and the Republicans and see what the future who want to be president, Ron DeSantis, has done in his state, and think that he won't try to do that shit across America and think that's worse than what Democrats are doing, I don't know what to say about you. I don't know what to say about you. Now, I don't know what Tim Scott finna do in the White House. But it's not finna be nothing good for minorities. It ain't finna be doing nothing good for marginalized groups. I'll tell you that shit. If you can look at him and say that he's better than a group that just ain't doing shit, they ain't getting no progress done, but shit ain't going fucking backwards. if you can't look at that and like discern those differences between those two dynamics, I don't know how your brain works. But once you explain it to me, there are some ways I can understand it. You just might have different principles, and that's okay. I won't even, argue with you against having principles that make sense with how you believe. There are principles that I've heard people give me argument where it's like, okay, that makes sense. I don't agree with, the politics of it and the choice being made, but I understand the logical progression of why you make this choice. Killer Mike motherfucking ass. He's saying like he got a police officer daddy. I understand why he support police. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to not, I don't have to be mad at him for supporting police, especially when I understand why. So there's like a wide net cast over motherfucking how I feel about it, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna talk about. Oh, it's another situation that happened. It's a woman who, a white woman shot a black woman through her front door in Florida. She died next to her 10-year-old son because the white woman basically, the kids were playing. Listen, the lady have had a problem with the black woman and her kids for a whole time. Apparently, they've exchanged words since they've been living around each other. The kids left their iPad outside after they were playing. The white woman picked up the iPad. The kids went back out to get the iPad from the white woman. She threw it on the ground and broke it. Now, when the mama went to the door to, I don't know, she could have been there to confront the lady. She could have been there to slap the shit out of the lady. She could have been just there interested in asking if the kids was telling the truth about her breaking the iPad. And she knocked on the door or rang the doorbell, and boom, a bullet came through the door. Shot in the chest and killed her. And at first they didn't arrest her.
What?
Because at first they didn't arrest her because the police officer said, you got to understand, in the state of Florida, you have to prove that it wasn't stand your ground first before you can arrest a motherfucker. And the only information that they had was from the kids. Once they gathered more information, they arrested her. And they made it clear that this wasn't stand your ground. It's just that the way that they have to do it legally in the state is they can't just arrest a motherfucker for shooting somebody. Yeah, they have to prove that the shooting was not the one that was in self-defense. And so that happened. But that's all I'm gonna mention. America be America-ing. And
Florida's just gonna always be the asshole of the country. It just, I don't know what's going on in Florida.
Yeah, they put out an NAACP put out a travel warning for Florida because they really becoming hostile to a lot of marginalized groups. I mean, they've been hostile to some, but like they becoming more and more hostile every day. People who are not members of marginalized groups are getting so much bolder to be shooting people through goddamn for driving up into their yard, to back up or to be, at the door. At the wrong house, and it's like you can just shoot a motherfucker through the door now. I mean, what the fuck?
Crazy.
Yeah, but that's all I got. You got anything else on your mind before we part ways?
I do not.
All right. Well, until we find the next conversation,
we out.
Holla.